I hope everyone's well after last night's festivities. This is the second major function of the weekend, reunion, and everyone's very welcome, and it's terrific to see a fantastic crowd here this morning for the unveiling of the Cairn. Firstly, a special welcome to the Mayor of the City of Victor Harbor, Scott Schubert, who was also at the dinner last night, and his wife Wanniger. He'll have an opportunity to speak a little bit later, and we certainly value the assistance given by the Council in the City of Victor Harbor. Everyone is very welcome. We're here obviously as families and descendants of Malin and Alice Rumbelow, who landed here 150 years ago. In this vicinity, we believe, on about the 5th of January 1855, with their children, Godfrey, Alice, Sophia, Mahalia, Carolyn, Malin II, Emma and Sarah. They arrived at Port Adelaide on the Bomber-G, having sailed from Southampton on the 17th of February 1854, and then travelled on to Encounter Bay, taking some 14 days to walk. Godfrey died later in 1855, and was buried in the Tabernacle graveyard. Her son David, born on the 8th of March 1855, just 2 months after the family arrived at this spot. So he was conceived either just before or just after they sailed from Southampton. Another daughter, Hannah, was born on the 3rd of February 1858. Both children died as infants and are also buried at the Tabernacle Cemetery. The surviving children all married. Alice to Cairn, who was drowned in the Murray Mouth in 1877, and then to Edward Robert Bolger, Mahalia's widow. Alice had no children of her own, but helped raise her sister's children. Sophia married William Robinson, and they had 8 children. He died in 1870, and Sophia married Alexander Bacchus in 1874, and had another 2 children. Mahalia married Henry Weymouth in 1860 and had 2 children. Henry, who died in 1863, and Mahalia then married Edward Robert Bolger in 1866. They had a further 4 children. Caroline married John Rymel Cakebread in 1861, and they had 10 children. Sorry about that. Malin married Mary Glastonbury in 1863, and they had 9 children. Haven't times changed? Emma married Thomas George Watson in 1865, and they had 9 children. Thomas died in 1914, and Emma Edward Robert Bolger, the 3rd sister to do so. We went through that last night. Sarah married William Jonas Watson in 1869, and they had 5 children, quite small compared to the others. These people are the foundation of this gathering this morning, and we welcome you, the descendants of the partners, friends, to this special occasion. Firstly, I'd like to invite the Mayor of the City of Victoria, Scott Schubert, to council. We certainly appreciate the council's involvement, as the Cairn before us was the original Rumbelow home, Yiltana, and after it was demolished, the city stored the granite and have now used that to build this memorial here. So we certainly thank the council for their efforts. And the Mayor, Scott Schubert.
Good morning everyone. I hope everyone's recovered after their very enjoyable evening last night. Thank you again for inviting me to be part of your very special reunion here at the beach, and a very special part of South Australia, a very special part of your heart. I'm pleased the council's been able to assist you again in these events with the Cairn here. As I said last, it'll be hard to find really any aspect of the Victor Harbour area that hasn't been touched in some way, in most respects, being heavily influenced by the Rumbelow family. And again, this is another permanent reminder of the impact that your family has had in the area. It's great really to see the current members of the Rumbelow dynasty gathered here again, and keeping the spirit alive of the family, and I know there's such a strong bond that keeps you all together. Obviously that I said last night also that when you think of the Rumbelow family, you conjure up images of the fishing industry here, and being here at this special location, it's going to be a permanent reminder when people come here, visitors come here to read that, and also family come back here to reflect on what your descendants have done in the area and what they've done for the area. So I congratulate you all again and wish you all the best for the rest of your celebrations, and once more congratulations, and have a great time while you're here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. I guess the next segment is really to talk about the tragedy that's been involved in the Rumbelow family, and certainly make mention of a number who have died at sea. The segment, I'd like to welcome Malcolm Rumbelow to say a few words. Descendant of Malin II, Brother Don spoke last night. Malcolm was born in the Encounter Bay area and has lived most of all of his life here, all but a few years I think. He's followed in many of the same traditions that seems to be common throughout the family, involved in sports community activities in many facets. He attended Victor Harbor High School and Primary School, and on leaving school he followed in his father and brother footsteps and became a carpenter. When the family established a carpentry business, he left his current employment to join them. Several years ago he changed and has gone into deli and a chicken shop in the area. He's got a deep respect of the sea, also enjoys the leisure activities that it has to offer. He's been a successful sailor competing at state and national levels. He's an active member of the Victor Harbor and Goolwa Sea Rescue Squadron, where he has held the positions of both squadron leader and commodore, giving up his time to assist others who require assistance. So please make welcome Malcolm to tell us about the members of the family who have died at sea. Thank you, Malcolm.
Thanks, Glenn. And I would just like to say welcome everybody here today as well. From the earliest days, the Rumbelow family being in South Australia, an affiliation with the sea developed. The family became more and more involved with the sea as each of the generations worked and made fishing a career and way of life, not just a job. So it's not surprising to realise that there were going to be tragedies, just as there were celebrations of success. There have been 6 Rumbelows who have lost their lives at sea. 7, if you actually include Malin III, who died while catching snapper on the outer ground. 6 drownings seems a high number to any family. But when you consider the number of hours that the family collectively would have spent on the water, it's probably not a bad ratio. Cairn, though strictly not a Rumbelow, was the first to be lost in 1887. He was returning to Goolwa from the Murray Mouth with 2 other men when he slipped and fell overboard in a storm. He had been steering the boat with a makeshift rudder, as the tiller had already been lost, and Cairn couldn't swim. It was 2 days before his body was recovered. In 1920, the second tragedy occurred when Samuel Rumbelow drowned while trying to save a young girl who had been washed off rocks at Port Elliot. Samuel had tried to warn her of the dangers of being too close to the edge, but his warnings were not heeded. And yet he still had no hesitation in jumping in to try and rescue her. He managed to bring her back to the rocks, where she was hauled out by other people there. Unfortunately, Samuel wasn't quite so lucky. He was washed out, taken under by the surge and undertowed, and unfortunately he drowned as well. A large number of people who attended his funeral was indeed a testament to the popularity of the man. At about midnight on the 23rd of December in 1932, the double drowning of Walter and David took place. Walter, David and Lionel were fishing in Backstairs Passage when the ferret foundered in heavy seas off Waitpinga Beach on the way home. Walter had seen Lionel in Victor before leaving on that trip and asked if he would like to accompany him on the trip down to Kangaroo Island. Lionel agreed. He went home and got ready. He went next door to his brother David's house and asked David to look after his nets for a couple of days while he was going to be away. And David said, yeah, that would be fine too. David changed his mind, and later on he thought he would like to also down to KI. So he got his daughter Florence, or Fawn as we know her now, to take him to the bluff to enable him to wave the others in as they went past. That was the last Fawn saw of her father. When the ferret went down, Lionel and David were able to cling to the dinghy they'd been towing and were washed towards Waitpinga Beach. Walter was never sighted, and it is believed he was trapped in the cabin. The brothers were washed in and out many times before a huge breaker picked up the dinghy and flung it into the air. Lionel was pushed on at Waipenga, and he believed the dinghy must have struck Dave on the head, knocking him unconscious. Lionel searched for his brother to no avail before struggling up the beach and through the hills to the Honeyman home above Waipenga to raise the alarm. Dave spotted it the day after Christmas, though Walter was never found. David's wife Mabel gave birth to a son, young David, 3 months later. Pardon me. On May the 16th in 1975, Jeff Rumbelow was drowned. I apologise. Just out here, trying to retrieve his own boat that had broken its moorings in heavy sea. On the day Jeff drowned, there was a very high tide and the large swells were coming right up onto the footpath where we're all standing now. But more about this later. The most recent drowning was that of Kevin Rumbelow, or Jackson. Jack as we knew him. That happened on November the 22nd in I don't know, I've lost it. That's all right. Kevin was returning from Kangaroo Island in bad weather in the boat he had called the Galini when she went down. He'd not had the Galini long and bought her to be able to day fish from Victor so he could spend more time with his family. It was on his first extended trip to the island that his tragic death occurred. A large air and sea search was organised when Jack was overdue, and it was 6 days before his body was recovered on the beach in Shannon's Gully, just to the west of Parsons Beach. History repeated itself when Kevin Maxine found she was also pregnant, and eventually young Kevin was born. The sad part was that Kevin never knew that he was to be a father again. Though there have been tragedies, the Rumbelow family have always been ready to help those in peril. 3 have been recipients of Royal Humane Society bronze medallions. Lionel, my grandfather, received one for saving the life of Abraham Solomon, just out here in Shark Alley. That was in 1925. In 1934, Cyril Rumbelow, or Mick as he was, saved the life of a farmer at Port Elliot when he was being gored by a bull. Mick was armed only with a tomahawk, and being 19 at the time, was full of bravado, managed to chase off the bull and save Mr. H. Dent from a terrible fate. The 3rd recipient, my father Graham, when he was involved in the attempted rescue of Jeff Rumbelow, just out here. Chris Tapscott, son-in-law of Lynn Shannon, and Keith Proctor also received medals from that attempted rescue. In huge seas, Dad and Chris tried to bring Jeff back to shore, but were unable to get him into the dinghy Dad was rowing. Chris managed to hold Jeff and was giving him mouth-to-mouth in the water, but it was too late. Mary George's grandfather, Horace Reed, also received a bronze medallion for his efforts in Victoria when he saved him in a carriage behind a runaway horse in 1921. So you can see that the family have always been prepared to jump in and give a hand when it's been required. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody for coming down to Encounter Bay and Yuki for the weekend to make it such, and also congratulate all the organisers for the efforts that they have put into it in making this a bloody good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Malcolm, and beautifully delivered. My grandfather was drowned, David at Waipenga, when my mum Florence was only a teenager, and left Evelyn and David was born after the incident. So this weekend's been very special for me as well, one that I'll remember for a long time. The final segment for today, I'd like to welcome Peter Rumbelow. Peter should be known to all of you. He's been the main organiser, as I said last night, the lifeblood of organising this reunion. He's been fantastically assisted by some hard-working committee people for the book and the function, but it's really been Peter that's been the driving force throughout the whole last 4 or 5 years to make this function happen. I thank you for being part of it. I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekends, even though there's not much to go, and you travel home safely. Thank you very much, and welcome Peter Rumbelow.
Thank you very much, Glenn. I'd just like to pause for a while now with you while we remember those that have gone before us. For some of you this will be a prayer, and for others it will just be a statement of appreciation and love for those who have gone before. So let's bow our heads. We offer thanks for the bravery and strength of character of Maylan and Alice Rumbelow, and who in 1854 left their friends and family in rural Suffolk, boarded a small overcrowded ship and set out for Port Adelaide, a place unknown to them that they'd heard about from Maylan's nephews who had migrated a few years earlier. We have read of the journey to Australia, the deaths on board, the children born below decks, the storms and the drenching rain that reached everywhere, and the stale food as the end drew near. We don't know what brought them to this place, Encounter Bay, but we do know that Alice married Cairn, who introduced the family to fishing. We again admire the bravery of the family, particularly the women, because a whaling establishment in 1855 was a far from ideal place to raise a young family. We read of the births and deaths that occurred in the family so soon after they arrived, and we wonder at the self-reliance this family showed so far from their family support. We particularly pause to remember the members of our family who died at sea, most while fishing, but not all. We reach out in this quiet time with love and support to those who are with us today who have lost husbands, fathers and grandfathers to the sea. We also pause to remember the members of our own immediate families who are no longer with us or who couldn't be here for any number of reasons. And we bring to mind how much they enjoyed these family celebrations. We give thanks for all those members of the family who have made significant contributions to society in many different ways. Some through their trades and professions, some homemakers, and some through community organisations. We are especially proud and grateful to those who have risked their lives to save others, and the awards received are testament to their bravery. We remember with gratitude those who lost their lives serving their country in wartime. Their sacrifice is respected. We also express our gratitude to all those who served and returned. We read with pride some of the citations detailing their bravery in action. We are grateful for the opportunity as a family to remember our past, and we look forward to the achievements that will come through the years from the descendants of the two humble people we honour, Maylan and Alice Rumbelow. Thank you. I'm going to unveil this pier that's been built from rock that was mined out on the island and was trimmed from the granite blocks that are built into the facing of the Parliament House. I don't know whether it was scavenged or whether it was legitimately gained, but the house on the corner that's now gone that was the facing of of the house, and it was saved by the council, and we're really appreciative of the fact that the council have been able to create this cairn, and we as a family are going to now unveil a plaque on that cairn that just the words you'll see soon that just indicate our love and respect for those that went before us. I've asked I think, and I stand to be corrected here, but I've asked a number of people to assist with the unveiling because I thought each family should be represented. Robinson is here representing the Sophia's family. When I call your name, if you could come out and stand by the cairn, I'd appreciate it. Bob Spencer is Mahalia's representative. Matt Boyce is the representative of Carolyn's family. Is Matt able to come forward? Thank you. Florence Rosser is the representative of Maylan's family. And Merle Burdett, who is 90 years old today, happy birthday, Merle, is the representative of Emma's family. Now, the person that was going to be here for Sarah's family, not able to come this morning. Is there a representative from Sarah's family who could come forward and join us, please? No, there's no one over 80, but... come and hold the cloth and remove it. So that it's unveiled. And the plaque says, Mayland and Alice Rumbelow and children arrived at Encounter Bay on the 5th of January 1850 from Mildenhall, Suffolk, United Kingdom, and the family established a fishing dynasty at Encounter Bay. Their families of Robinson, Bacchus, Weymouth, Bolger, Catebread, Rumbelow and Watson dedicated this cairn, built with stone retrieved from the family home Yultana, on the 17th of April 2005. So we've got history here today. Thank you very much indeed. This is called a photo opportunity. Florence, can you come over? Thank you.
Hey! Wait.
Thank you very much. Yeah. But because of your generosity in buying the books, and because the painting a very, very good result, and we thank John Rumbelow for his generosity there. we will have made a profit on the weekend. But you're not getting refunds. We believe that the committee will have a bit of a bite to eat tonight and think about what's happened over the weekend, and we'll come to some decisions, but it's my hope that we'll be able to establish a small fund that can do something about the maintenance of the graves of the original family of the 6 children and the mother and father, and that can last some time into the future. So thank you.